Hi, Marta.
Hi David, how are you doing in the garden?
Fine, except
Allergic.
it's outside.
Allergic.
Yes, I am allergic. You know what? That's a good reminder. I will go take my allergy pill and be right back. Hello, welcome to my deck.
Hi, hello. It's a very nice deck.
It's a beautiful day, so if I'm going to work,
We're
I'm going to work outside. Northern Virginia.
Northern Virginia. Okay, I'm in New Jersey, and yeah, this week we have same just gorgeous. I just want to be outside pretty much.
Well, I've had many days where that was not a good idea, so I'm going to take advantage of the weather while I get it. Hi, Vicky.
Well, howdy. How are you,
Howdy.
man? Howdy.
All right. I work hard. I can even find our working group notes.
Yeah, will we have a croak today? Hey, Xavier. Is it
I
Xavier?
assume
Is it
so, but
Javier?
The first one, Xavier.
Xavier. Okay.
Very good.
all
Well,
right.
I'm used to all pronunciations, Spanish, English, French, etc. So you can go with whatever you want. But the French one is Xavier.
But if possible, I would like to get it correct.
Okay. Thank
Names
you.
matter.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Glenn.
That's strange. Huh. Our bullets really were like this.
Yeah, these get kind of weird sometimes. I don't know why Google Docs has been messing these up a bit.
Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm late.
Speak his name and he will show up.
That's right. It's awesome that every time you're rushing at the last minute, everyone decides to do a damn update. Yay, Zoom. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your patience.
It's supposed to be a feature, Rob.
It knows. It was watching me. It knew I was downstairs grabbing a coffee, and I was going to be late, and it had to do an update. So, welcome everybody to the very special RSA edition, June 7th, 2022 edition of the BEST working group. Do we have anyone here today that has not attended a best practices meeting and wanted to introduce themselves?
I'm new. My name's Kara Olive. I'm a technical writer from Google. Technical writers tend to come in from either the technical side or the writer side. I come from the writing and education side more generally. So just thought I'd listen in today and see what you guys are chatting about.
Oh, love a tech writer. Thank you for being here.
Great.
I tried to capture your name correctly. Did I do that?
I
I got
added
your
it
first
on the
name, but not
attendee
your
list.
last name.
Oh, Kara Olive, Olive.
Okay, very good. Welcome. We
Welcome.
like to record our new friends.
Anyone else new here that wanted to say hello? All right. I think today is going to be an amazing call. But first, do we have anyone that's interested in helping us take notes and scribe today?
Sounds like Mr. Wheeler is right on top of it. But I will assist when he is otherwise engaged, or I will try.
Excellent. Appreciate it.
More
I will
helpers,
beg for
always
multiple
welcome.
people,
Yeah,
but I will try to help.
everyone in the pool.
Many hands makes light work.
Absolutely.
All right. If you are interested in talking about anything, if you have any opens, please note those in the agenda. Our first item, we want to do, does anyone have any major project updates they wanted to share with the team?
I don't know if they're major, but I have two quick updates for the badge and the course, the fundamentals course.
Please.
All right. So, and this is already in the notes because I try to pre-fill. The badge. Oh, whoops. Is there a problem, Crow?
Nope. I was
Okay,
saying smart man.
Oh, okay. I was afraid. I was afraid you were pointing to your ear and saying you couldn't hear me.
No.
Not that that's ever happened on a Zoom call before. All right. So real quick on the badge, we routinely, as we are trying to encourage all projects to do, we get reports when there is a vulnerable dependency detected. We got a vulnerability reported, in particular in our web server called Rack, and we updated and fixed and so on. Probably more interesting on the course, kind of two things. I don't think I've mentioned this before, but an RIT, actually she's a sophomore student, has offered to give us a hand. Her name is Olivia. Just has started interacting, kind of looking over, and just basically right now just walking through the whole course, proposing editorial changes. She's learning as we go that different style, but I believe already some of her changes are actually already deployed. So although right now we're much more focused. She's jumping into the pool, so right now it's much more focused on tech edits. But you know what? You get enough improved tech edits that makes the document and the material easier to understand. We want maximum ease of understanding. This is at least related to the fundamentals course. I on OpenSSF Day going to be giving a short talk, half an hour, talking about education, talking about Stream 1 in general. But I'm working on that presentation right now, so I don't know exactly what it's going to say yet, but I'll find out soon. And I do plan to make a secret announcement. I have mentioned that earlier. So, it'll be good. It'll be good. So, but I wanted to have something new to announce. So you'll hear about it if you show up at OpenSSF Day. Then hopefully that's enough to convince you to come join our fun. And that's it.
I'll be there.
Excellent.
Any questions or comments for David? All right. Speaking about Stream 1, once Mr. Wheeler replies to an email, we will be having a new meeting on the calendar for those that are interested for the probably going to be called the Education SIG of the BEST working group. And with that looks, I believe that was going to be the team voted on early morning Eastern. And I think it's on Wednesdays, but I'll send it out, details to the list. Everybody is welcome to participate. We're focusing in on the mobilization plan Stream 1, going to try to take an inventory of our current assets in education and awareness, see if we have any gaps, and then decide on how, what types of tiers of things how are we gonna break this up and attack the plan at many different levels, like approaching higher education, approaching secondary education, doing boot camps at conferences, webinars. So we're gonna figure all that out. So if you're interested in playing around with education things, please look forward to that invite and join us. Vicki.
Which week do you anticipate having the first meeting? Would that be this week, next week?
Next week, I think. It just all depends on how quickly we get an email responded to. We decide on a name for the calendar, but probably next week. And then we're going to try to meet weekly, but that might be a bit of a challenge in June with conference season moving up into full swing. Many of us will be in Austin. I'm going to Ireland right after Austin. So we'll see if we can make sure we can get a time coordinated.
Cool. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. The chat. Cool. So let us, do any of our other sub projects have any updates they wanted to share with the group?
Yeah, maybe from my side, it was already a while ago that I was able to be present here. Unfortunately, other times I was actually at a client doing a secure training for secure development. But in the meantime, we didn't sit still. So we actually created the infra/ops related content and material. We already had like 10 interactive labs that people could do, but now we also have all the material around it and explaining basically the infra and ops related part of why and how you should do things with nice examples. If you don't, how easy it will be for the offensive side to actually abuse those type of misconfiguration and vulnerabilities. Also, we spoke actually to the people of GitHub here in the Netherlands, because we also implemented the SSO feature and functionality in SKF. And they want to help us and guide us a bit for, in like 2 weeks, I have a meeting again with them, how to implement the SSO and federate with GitHub. So people are able to log in using their GitHub account actually. Yeah, this is also quite important because after that we can actually work on the gathering of the metrics of who did what, how many time they spent in doing labs or gathering security requirements. Yeah, so that was also very nice that you know, the people from GitHub NL are going to help and assist us a bit in that, so we can move some ground there a bit quicker.
Quick, Glenn, you said SSO, not SSL, correct? Single sign-on?
Yeah, single sign-on solutions,
Yeah,
basically.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, using the whole key cloak and the gateway and all that good stuff. So yeah. No, the SSL stuff I fixed actually today. I renewed the certificate, but that's not what you meant, huh?
Awesome. Thank you, Glenn. Any questions for Glenn about SKF? All right, moving along, let us discuss the awesome one pager and see if we can bring this across the finish line. It's a project that I've been working on for a little bit, and it's designed to be a one-page document for developers to quickly be able to see some of the most impactful security things they can do. And then there will also be a companion piece around, is it configuration and operations, David?
No, evaluation.
Evaluation.
You know, basically,
So let's jump in
one is
and look at the document.
generating out, the other is bringing in. Yeah, we definitely need. Do you have the link in the notes? Yeah, let me add that. Woo-hoo.
So do you want to lead us through where we are?
Sure. I did not accept changes so that everybody could see what the most recent changes are. It does mean it looks like kind of a mess. But I thought for transparency purposes, it would be better to leave the changes in for now after, and we can during or after this meeting, you know, go accept all and see what nonsense we have. I mean, part of the challenge is here we really want to try to make this short. The one page constraint is somewhat artificial, but I think it's helpful because it sure is easy to move on to many pages with this stuff. So in that spirit, shortened up the top, you know, and it already said who it was for, but sounds like some people it wasn't so obvious. So now it's just, the intro is just one sentence. Here's a quick guide for software developers for developing more secure software throughout its development, building, distribution. And then when you see the text down there, we are very much trying to whoops, why is that number there in the, okay. Trying to divide out between making it, you know, providing specific recommendations and guidance, but very little space. I didn't try that hard to reorder, mainly because as soon as you start moving stuff around, everything is deleted and everything is removed, so you can't really see what changed. So I focused more on taking people's comments and changing them up. So and making sure that they're there. For the most part, I think we're decently close. There's a couple arguments. So let me point out to the commented the yellow areas. Sorry.
Arguments. Dave has a hand
David,
up.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, please.
I'm on no, no worries. I'm on the document. I don't see any comments or suggested changes or anything. I just see the document.
Agreed.
Okay, I'm wondering, I think you have to have edit rights to see the proposed changes. Can you go to the top, see if you can make edits or at least suggestions?
I do not have edit. There's a little button if I want to request access.
Yeah,
all right.
same.
Okay, so tell you what, push the little button to request rights to edit. Let's see if we can do this real time. So let me
live
attempt.
demos, Wheeler.
Yeah, with all the problems of live demos. What could go wrong?
No kids, no animals, no live demos.
I like that. All right. All right. So so let me just verbally point out some of the things that are common. One was the don't pushing secrets. Really, there isn't an argument whether or not this is a good thing to do. The issue is we already have in number 5 a use a combination of tools pointing to the guidance on security tools from the OpenSSF tools working group, and that one already mentions the secret storage stuff and tools for looking at it. Now it doesn't mention so much don't put secrets in your GitHub repo, although that is covered in I believe Salsa and the course. So this isn't a matter of we don't agree this is a good idea. The question is it's already covered? Actually, maybe I'll just stop there. I see hands. Why don't we just do one at a time? Yeah, Vicky.
I'd say it bears repeating. Leave it in.
Okay. Krob.
Speaking from years of experience at multiple companies, this is a chronic problem where somebody puts passwords, signing things. So I think it, as Vicky said, this is important enough. We should state it separately.
All right.
Reiterate it.
Okay. Very good. All right. We'll have to be careful about that because we're trying to make it short. But okay, let's just keep it in, and we'll see if we can squish everything else to it. The rapid updates and tests. I attempted to respond to Krob's comment about trying to make this action oriented. So it's now use and have a. Hopefully I got that. I mean, I don't know if Krob, you've had a chance to, but why not at least for a moment say we did it, and if you don't agree, you can always bring that comment back.
Certainly. I'm satisfied. I'll take a peek in a moment.
Okay. Yeah. So let's see here. Make it easy for your users to update. Possible future blog opportunity. Totally agree. In fact, we could probably make a blog on each point. So why don't I just say that that's true for everything, and I'll agree, and
I came to that realization like 2 steps after I made that comment. Like, well, hell, everything here should be a blog, and that is an opportunity for this group to potentially either identify existing content or create some new content around these topics. Or maybe education thing.
Yeah, it'd be good to describe when they apply. I think we already did that. Salsa should always apply. LFX is primarily if you're an LFX project. CNCF is kind of a weird one. It was originally designed for cloud, but a significant part of it does apply to non-cloud. So I really hate. I mean, it takes a different tack, but that's not a bad thing. So I don't think we want to do it. The third-party audit, if you can afford it, I think that's a caveat. I mean, that's really the only reason. I think everybody should do a third-party audit. The only problem is funding resources, not whether or not it's appropriate. So I think we've already accomplished that overall comment from Marta. And Marta, you're here. You can defend and say we didn't do it yet.
My reading from the perspective of someone who is not in the security domain is that they will understand the things that are on the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have abbreviations. If you do not know this stuff, you will say, I don't know what it is, I don't know what it is, I don't know what it is. Okay, I throw it away.
Well, okay. The point here is I don't know what it is, and then there's a link you click on. I'm hoping that third party audits.
If you're going to click and then you find out that it doesn't apply to you because it's Cocat, you are not on GitHub, so it doesn't apply to you.
No,
okay. Doing a lot of research.
Right. Now, I agree with you that the scope should be here. I don't know of any case where it's not here. ASVS applies to everybody. Third party applies to everybody if you can afford it. CNCF, I'm going to argue, applies to everybody. I know that some of it is cloud specific, but not the whole thing. LFX security is if you're an LF project. Did I miss anything? So I'm agreeing with your statement, but I think we got it. We did have to make some changes, but hopefully we got it now.
And potentially, I would imagine that once we publish this, we will work, with the TAC and the governing board, maybe do a blog to announce it, and we can provide some additional context saying this is a great beginning point, and there's a lot of other resources we refer here to, blah, blah. Show up at the working group if you have questions.
Yeah. And now we could say at the top, a semicolon, see links for details. Would that help? Because because the goal of this is not to be the final document and the only thing you read.
I don't know. I mean, if we have to tell you to follow links that are pretty obviously links, then I have to wonder either A, whether you've existed on the web yet, maybe you haven't, or B, it's possible that our CSS is messed up and things don't look like links. So we can't necessarily blame the reader on that for that one, but yeah, we shouldn't have to tell people to follow links for more information. Let's give our audience some modicum of grace here and assume that yes, they know how to use the internet, or at least the web.
Okay, or at least hyperlinks.
Well, and this will be on the internet, so they got there.
Well, I mean, they might, maybe somebody printed off a PDF for them.
On green bar?
Sure. I'm stretching. Okay. All right. So, so Martin, I agree that we need to make it clear when they apply. I think that we did that. And if not, let's circle back. You know, because obviously we're just kind of running through the document real quick. So I'm going to claim that we did that, but if you relook at it and you find a place where we didn't do that, please re-raise. Okay? Does that seem reasonable?
Okay, I tried to add it when it was missing, but
right,
you know,
right.
not sure I added.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the trick, of course, is we're trying to do this in one page, so we're not going to get into grand details. But yeah, if it only applies to LF projects, then we should say that. Let's see here. What are the other? I'm looking at the yellow text. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I'm going to quickly look over at our friends who have clicked on the "Hey, please let me edit" button. So if everyone can give me just a moment, or maybe stall for me. And
I can stall for you for a moment. It sounds like you're coming to the closing stage of this, and I just have maybe one suggestion that could be pretty easy to do. There's a lot here, and I think it might get greater traction with people if you organize it a little bit in terms of, it looks like there's things that you're telling people not to do, and then there's things that are just sort of, you know, enable this, throw this switch, you know, start using this tool. So just sort of one-time actions of turn on Dependabot, or avoid doing these things, anti-patterns, and then, you know, start auditing your projects for this and start implementing, you know, doing new practices going forward. You might want to, if you organized it that way, of like, you know, these 1 through 5, don't do this, 6 through 11, turn on these tools.
Okay, I don't think we can do that on one page. I think that is not possible. What we should do is organize it, though. I totally agree. Last time we had agreed that we would organize this more or less by the expected order of events that people will do. So basically, some of the easy, quick wins, and then, you know, the things that we would kind of hope, you know, if you're going to do steps 1 through 10, do 1 first, then 2. But here's the problem. If I tried to do that with the current document, then you can't see the other changes, because when you move stuff around, it's a delete of everything and an insert of everything. So there was no way to see the other changes made. So what I would propose is, let's do some quick fixes, accept all, and then between now and next gathering, try to work out an order, and then hopefully can declare this thing sort of a victory. Grobe, I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, exactly. If we can, it's not like there's a deadline or bust, but I don't want to be working on this 3 years from now as the working group work. So I want to try to make forward progress and complete in a relatively near term. And I see Vicky's hand.
I never have anything to say. I know, I'm so quiet and demure. No, I think that your idea to accept everything, to kind of clean up the doc and then move forward is, you know, spot on. Yay, go team, let's do that. But then after that, I in particular would love to have a pass of a writing professional who also comes from the education background. So Kara, I would very much value your input on this afterward, to especially since, you know, this is what you do, right? And if so, you were able to take our really great first pass and see what you can do to make it more accessible to the audience, and while also perhaps staying to that one page. Definitely, that's a hard goal. Anything you could do to make that, I would think that's amazing. I mean, seriously, I cannot understate how thrilled I am that you're here. We don't see enough tech writers in these working groups, so you're like a unicorn. You're solid gold unicorn is what you are for me right now.
Okay, sure. I would be happy to.
Awesome. And we do have tech editors at the LF also that I can stick this on, and having multiple eyes is awesome. So let's do that. The problem with our tech editors on our end is they may not have the technical background. I mean, that's always the challenge. So, Karen, particularly sounds like you've got some overlap, and that's be awesome. We'd love to have all your input. So thank you. Yes. Okay. Whoops, and I think the last comment was deleted, and I accepted a whole bunch of edits. So I'm kind of hoping that everybody can now see the state. So are we good enough to accept all changes, and then we can bicker about improvements from there, and maybe reorders and draft improvements? Are we close enough for that? As I said, I want to at least let people see the changes that were made to the text.
We've got a bunch of people thumbs up and are +1, I think.
Okay.
We are good. And I have one additional suggestion, David. I don't know if we talked about the audits. I don't know if we want to link like to Alpha and Omega.
No,
that's
we don't. No,
we don't.
We do not. These links should be, hey, you're reading this. Here's what to do next. Alpha Omega isn't a do next.
Okay.
Because Alpha Omega is looking, because otherwise they'll be overwhelmed with everybody thinks they're important. And you know what? Everybody's important.
Everybody is. I love all my children equally.
We got that. But
I love all my working groups equally.
That's right. That's right. But there are many projects which are important, but others are well anyway. I don't want to actually cast shade. The point though is that it won't be helpful. Now, I guess we could point them to sos.dev, but that's not going to be enough to do a code review in most cases. That's going to be, those are for small amounts of small focused activities. All right, so somewhere I will find the button that says accept all, and then what I'm going to ask is everybody please review the new. How in the world do we propose reordering? Because the challenge there, I guess maybe we could at the bottom maybe list some proposals for changes, because otherwise if we just move stuff around, it's not obvious what happens.
Yeah, like our meeting notes, let's just carve off the bottom. This is all additional suggestions, move 1 to 4 and 4 to 12.
Okay. All right.
And
that sounds good.
Put your name there so that you potentially we could come back and ask, why, or have a conversation about that.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Somewhere I'm going to find this accept all button. I haven't found it yet. But why don't we move on to something else? But I think we've made big progress, folks. And now the other document, which is kind of the supporting document, is the evaluation. I did work to try to start to clean that up and shorten it. I think for time, I mean, we can take a look if there's something else for this working group that we want to do today. But this is the document I most wanted to work on today, and we can talk about what we want to do with the rest of our meeting time.
Are there any additional opens or topics people would like to talk about, or we go look at the evaluation doc?
So just before you move on, I mean, I think, I was the one saying last time we shouldn't get to the one page by just using a smaller font. But I see Dave actually said on the chat, there's a very big margin now, and I agree with that. So maybe we can change that margin a little bit and get to the one page. I think that would be reasonable.
To be honest, I was teasing. I wasn't serious. But you know what? If a small margin change in the end is makes things so this is a good result. Really, what I want is a good result. And what I'm fearful though is that it's so easy to move into the 300-page documents, and this isn't the goal of that. So having an arbitrary one page really forces us to throw away, to prioritize, I would say.
We're looking for a checklist, not an encyclopedia.
That's right. That's right. And maybe somebody who is more familiar with Google Docs can tell me where the heck the stinking accept all button is. Okay, Croak will help me.
Kara has put it in
Kara
the
said.
chat.
Yeah,
Oh, Kara's
I was pointing to the chat that you can't see on my screen.
Tools, review suggested edits. Okay, tools, review. We can do this in real time. Review suggested
I had
edits.
no idea that was a thing.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I knew it was a thing in many other things and many other things.
Look at that. All the pink went away.
All the pink went away. The document is, oh my gosh, it's one page. A miracle occurred. So we might not have to do the page margin games or the I mean, there's actually a whole lot of games. The indent, how much do you indent? When we have to do kerning adjustments, that's when things are have gotten scary. All right, so why don't I go below and say proposed orderings? Okay, and that way if you want to propose changes to the text, that's great. But if it's just an ordering, because we can't see different people's proposals, if we embed it within this document itself, because there's many of us, let's do it below. And then
we seem to have lost something. The third bullet ends with C. Yes, there.
And we don't see anything after the C.
That's right.
All right.
Well, it's more like, well, C.
C.
Oh, that's what it is. Then you need like.
It's his Americanism.
Give me some punctuation.
Right, well, no problems. You know what?
That will do it.
That will do it. Yeah, I mean, seriously, if there's something that's needs to be re-added, great. But we are trying to keep this pretty darn short with links. And the thing is, we're not really removing information because we can just link to other stuff with more of the details. But we're trying to give people that starter place. Okay, so if you look on the number 3, it says evaluate code before selecting it. If you click on that link, you'll get to the quick guide for evaluating open source software, which is the, yes, exactly. All right, do we want to continue on this? My apologies, I didn't.
No, I didn't hear anyone else suggest open, so I'll give you one more opportunity. Any other topics to talk about before we move on to this second document? And I'm so very proud of our work so far, by the way.
Oh, good. Okay. Oops.
All right, let us look at evaluating software.
Okay. In some ways, of course, this is a pair, and I will note that one of the points is there evidence that the developers work to make it secure, and then it links back to the first document. So both these documents link to each other, and I think that's reasonable. When you're developing, you evaluate software to bring it in. When you're evaluating software, you're looking for are they doing the same sort of things that you should be doing yourself. So I fully acknowledge there's cyclic references, and I think it's appropriate. Okay, so again, there's a lot of lines and so on because I'm trying to show the changes to the document. I didn't try to delete the to-do at the bottom. For those who aren't familiar with how this document was created, the idea the group discussed creating a quick guide. And the problem was, well, what do we start with? And so I copy pasted the material from the course on how to develop secure software, which has some information about evaluation. Now, it's a different context, and it's not worried about one page. So now there is a slight variance here. The first page is about developing software at all. This one is focused only on evaluating open source software. under the premise that most of the times when you're reusing software, you're reusing open source software. It's not always true. It's not always true. Got that. I mean, if you're running on Windows, you are technically reusing the Windows operating system. It is not open source software. Got it. Okay, but there's probably you're probably selecting a lot of those proprietary programs for reasons that don't particularly pertain here, and we gotta focus. So the theory here was that for purposes of trying to get this done within our lifetimes, focus a little bit, and since this is the most common case, focus on common case. Does that seem, especially given this is the OpenSSF? All right, so as you'll note, what has happened here is basically attempts to really cut out a lot of the text. Frankly, I have not quite succeeded in shortening this down. We haven't spent as much time on this doc as the other one. So really, I think the question here is, we've made a start at this. It's not done and it's not as good a shape. We've got a bunch of deletions, but I wanted to show those before we actually perform them. If anybody had any issues, I mean, we can again just accept all, and so it's not quite so messy, and then repeat just like we did with the other document. But I don't want to do that without at least giving folks a chance to have looked at it. And if you want, we want to accept all later to give more people time to review it. That's great too. Vicky.
This is another one where I think a lot of people might not have edit access, myself in particular. So I can't see all the cute little pink lines.
Oh no. Well, how's this? Let's see if we can have more shared documents. And let's all right. Yeah. All right. So hey, lesson learned.
Jory's not on, is she?
I'm sorry.
Is Jory on?
No, no Jory.
This is like a kind of a sidebar. This is a chronic problem across the groups, and maybe we need to see if we can, at a foundation level, find a way to have appropriately permissioned share. And as we drop files in there, it'll inherit the right things.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I have not done the research. It seems like something that's likely possible to do. I just have not done the research to make that happen. So for the short term, I'll even let Krob look at this. I mean,
I'll take the action item to email Jory to ask about if there's a more consistent way we can do this.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not possible, but I have to admit, I kind of expect that to be a possibility. So we may have to put documents in different places, but that's fine. We'll just have to learn how to do that.
If only we had friends from Google that were here that could help point us to the right people.
All right. If you'll take the action to talk to Jory, I suspect this is a quick, easy fix. But just we'll get this to. Let's get this done for now, and yeah, let's work out the long-term solution to make things better. Okay, so does anybody have any opening comments about kind of the, I mean, I realize this isn't quite as further along, but on at least the direction we're going, it's basically the same kind of process. We're taking some materials, we're editing it down to try to shorten it up. There are maybe things that are missing, please add them. A couple people added things that were kind of duplicates or belonged in certain categories, so I tried to move them. So for example, the review last commit and its date. Reviewing the last date of the commit is all part of the reviewing, whether or not it's maintained, and reviewing the last commit and the install scripts are all part of the evaluation the software itself. So it shows it as deleted, number 3. But in fact, what happened is that it moved into the various sections that hopefully to try to give it a little structure. Okay, so I intend to accept all, but I mean, I want to wait and not interfere with people's looking at it first. Sounds like a lot of people haven't been able to see the changes, so maybe we should do that later instead of today. Any comments on the material so far, other than it's too long and needs to be shortened, which we know?
Well, and I would counsel us, sorry, Vicki, like the other document, if we could transform these statements into actionable dialogue, that'd be much more useful to the reader. So if we can kind of think about that.
Yeah, focus on action, do X, do Y, basically, active verbs. Okay. Let's see here.
I haven't had a chance to read it, and I won't be able to read it while I'm on a call with other voices in my head.
Sounds more clinical.
You work with what you got, right? And right, I will defer to Sammy.
All right, I'm just going to say change to be active voice. Do X. Change all entries.
Sammy's hand was raised.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see.
David, I accepted some of the changes this morning. So yeah, so I don't know if you want to revert to that version for the benefit of others, but
it's okay. I mean, if you're the one who made the changes and accepted it in, we didn't say do not only make suggested changes. Maybe we should have. I try to usually do that, but we didn't make it a hard rule or anything. So at this point I'm afraid to go backwards because multiple people have edited it, and I don't know, frankly, that sounds like a dangerous game undoing other people's changes. So
fail forward.
Yeah, there we go. Let's stick with what we got, look at what we got, and make changes from there.
Right.
We can always be reinserted if you in fact think it's a great idea and you change your mind. Okay, so sounds like a lot of people haven't seen this edit, so I would propose just look at it, and by tomorrow or day after just do an accept all so it's cleaner. Does that seem like a place to start? And then
so is this our homework for the week or for this week? Not
yeah, something like that.
So sooner rather than later. So in the next couple days, you have a homework assignment.
Another alternative is just accept all as it is now, and then start edit. That means just that the edits are off a cleaner doc. Basically, do we want to see the older changes, or do we want to accept the changes that have been made so far? And we no matter what, we can keep making changes. Accept. Okay. All right. Just because that'll make it easier to read it. Okay.
Rip off that Band-Aid.
All right. We cross that. Okay, and accept all. All right, it is now a shorter
you used it twice.
I'm sorry?
You used it twice.
That's right. Maybe I'll remember it. Okay, so I mean, there's more work to do on this. It's obviously nowhere near 1 page, which is the goal there, but we'll keep hacking down to try to make this shorter, preferably with more links. Okay. So we're making progress.
Yeah, so let's make that our homework for next time. Please review the document, add your suggestions. If you have links to resources, those are infinitely helpful as well. Yes. And we'll make that our topic for, is that going to be Austin?
Yeah, next 2 weeks from now, we're going to be in Austin. I don't know that we're going to actually have a.
Well, then let's ask the group. Do we want to defer the call and push it a month from now? Or do we want to try to have some kind of meetup in Austin? We can software together. I'll shoot a note out to the group to get your opinion, but there's a high probability that we will cancel the call for Austin.
Yeah, I speaking for myself, I mean, I'm hoping to see many of you in Austin, but that Tuesday through Friday, I'm going to be busy with, I'm on the program committee for both Linux Security Summit and for Supply Chain Security Con. So
Oh.
there's going to be no me that
So at high probability, we're going to cancel the call and we'll meet again in July. But please don't let that far off date lull you. Let's try to commit to get suggestions in the next week or two so that we can come back and actually potentially maybe get it trimmed down to one page in one meeting. And then if you have suggestions for moving the items in the first document around, please type those in the bottom. Put your name so we can ask you follow-up questions if it's needed. Are there any other topics or things we want to chat about in our last few minutes together today? All right, well, with that, I will close the call. I agree, Sammy. Good call. Thank you, everybody. I'm very excited. We're so close to getting this little project done. And we will talk to you very soon, hopefully in Austin. If not, we'll talk to you in July. Cheers.
Take care.
Bye all.
Yeah, thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.